Okay, in this lecture of IT system development, preparation, analysis, design, and problem solving, we will see the next indicative points. And in today's lecture, basically, our focus will be on the development life cycles. And we have seen we can use different multiple models for software development. Okay, like during the SDLC software development life cycle, we have a variety of options regarding different models that we can choose for our project. So we have seen few of the models in previous lecture as well, but just we have seen their descriptions. Now we will further see them in a little bit more details. Like we will see the waterfall model, V-shape, spiral, and iterative. Okay. And then also different development models like SSS, ADM, DSDM, and agile approach as well, including Scrum and Kanban. And then we will see the prototyping technique and DevOps. Okay, all these are the models we can use in our SDLC, like during the development life cycle of different softwares. After these, we will try to cover the role of system analysis, understand the existing systems, and identify the issues or the opportunities, such as reducing errors, improving their processing speed, improving the user experience, and to take the advantage of emerging opportunities, and examine the feasibility of the project or the development. So, if we will cover these subjects like these topics, then we will try to see the details regarding system analysis. Okay. Otherwise, we will end our lecture till here. Okay. So let's see the details of these models. Like what are the models actually do and how we are able to process things in different models, and what are the limitations of different models and what are the benefits. Like we have so many techniques, they have advantages and they have disadvantages as well. So we need to see that how much time we have, either our requirements are clear or not. If our requirements are not clear, then we are go for different approaches, like different models. And if our requirements are clear and we have to work for a longer time period, then we can go for waterfall model. Otherwise, we have different techniques and we can go for them. So basically, it depends upon our resources, our team specialties, our time as well, our requirements from the users. Then we can decide which model we are going to use. So we have waterfall model, V-shape, spiral, and iterative according to the SDLC models. Okay. Basically, they provide a framework for building the software, developing the software, and how we will work on a software, how we will do the planning, implementation, coding. So we will see step by step in these different models how we will follow the process, each with the distinct approaches to the project phases like testing, risk management, and implementation and development phase. The waterfall model is typically sequential. Sequential means what? We have to process the things step by step, and we have to follow a process in the sequence. First of all, we will work in the planning stage. Then after completing this stage, we can go through the next stage, like we will jump to the next stage and we will work in the next phase. But if we go for other approaches, then we will see that we have different sort of limitation and different sort of process we have to follow. Okay. But in waterfall, we have to follow a sequence and we have to follow the steps in a order. And it's a basically linear approach. Linear approach means that we will work in one phase at a time. That's all. We are not able to work at a time into different phases of a software and different stages of a software. While the V shape model extend it by integrating the parallel testing phase. Okay, so these are the phases we have in waterfall, and in V basically we have the testing phase against every stage of the software which we have here. Okay, like if we are working on the planning, we will test the planning. If we are working on the analysis phase, we will test it. If we are working on the implementation or maybe development phase, we have to test it. If we are going to develop the project or develop anything, then we have to test it. And after developing a product, we have to verify that either we have the project or product according to demand or not. Okay, then we are able to deploy the software in the environment. Okay, so it means that when we deploy the system in the environment, we will also test this, like either the user able to use the product or not. And that's why we call it V, because it's in V shape. Okay, so it basically provide us a benefit, like we will get the product which is validated, which have done the verification next to every step. Like in every step, we have performed the verification, like testing, and then we move to the next step. Then we again test this step, and then we will further work on the third stage, and then we will test the third stage, and then we will work on fourth stage. Okay, that's how it works. Like it provide us a complete, authentic, and accurate features of a product because we have done the testing at every phase. The spiral model is a risk driven and iterative. Iterative means what? Iterative means we have these few steps. We will again follow the same steps and then we will again work on all steps and then we will add a new feature into our product. Then we will again work and again follow all the same steps. Okay, like we have performed the same steps repeatedly in the spiral model. It is basically about the risk driven, like we can manage the risk at different stages because we have repetition of the step. Okay, emphasizing the risk analysis and prototyping at each loop. Now, what does mean by this term like prototyping? Prototyping means that we have developed a dummy phase of a software, of any website, of our product. Okay, like before developing a exact product which is required, before developing the product in real, we will make a prototype that will look like the same like the software. You can say if we have to develop any application, first of all, we will develop the interface of our application. Like we will design the interface, we will design how the screens will look like when the user first open the application, which screen will be shown to the user, and then when he or she wants to log in into that application, how different features will look like, what will be the color scheme. It means that you are working on the prototyping. Prototyping means it is not workable, but we can have a at least idea how many features we are going to add in this application, in this software, how it will look like, how different user are able to connect with this application or with this software. So it's all about prototyping. Prototyping at each loop means that in iterative model, in spiral model, we are able to develop a product. If the user even gives just one requirement, like he wants a online shopping website or any application, he or she wants just one or two features, like first of all he or she wants just to get some orders from their customers, okay? And the developers will work on these steps, and then when the developer has developed an application or website for the customer for shopping, like for online shopping, for placing orders by customers, after that the user came to again to the developers and demand that I require some few more features into the same application. Then it will again follow the same steps, okay? They will again design a prototype, design a user interface, and that's how it will work in loops. The iterative model focus on the developing the software in smaller and repeating cycles. Smaller means we will just add one function and develop a application or maybe any software, any website. After that, we will repeat whole process again, and then we will develop our product with some new features, okay? And that's how by repeating the cycle again and again we will add some extra features into the same product, and then eventually we will develop a complete product with ongoing feedback and refinement with the completion. So this is the purpose behind the iterative model. Like, we will develop one feature and get the feedback from our customers, and then we will work on it again, and we will complete a product with the refined features with the according to the requirements of our customers, and they will be satisfied by the product because we have connected with our stakeholders, with our customers in every iteration, okay? Like, we have developed the prototype again and again in each loop, and we have developed the features according to the demand of our customers. Okay. So it means that at the end of the day, we will provide them a product with the refined features. The choice of models depends on the project complexity, risk, and specific requirements. Okay. So these are few things. According to these, basically, we will decide either we are going to use the waterfall, spiral, V-shape, or maybe iterative, or maybe we have some other choices of models. So we can use them according to the risk, complexity, and the specific requirement. So in waterfall, again, we have to implement the linear and sequential approach. Okay, we have to follow the sequence. So friends, like, it is a simple model, a structured way, like we will just follow the sequence and we have to follow a order. Easy to manage. Easy to manage because we have to done the planning, first of all, then analysis, and then we will work on the designing phase, and then we will develop a product, then we will test it, and then at end we will implement it. Okay. But the weakness is inflexible. Inflexible means if we require a change, but if we are using the waterfall model, then we are not able to implement the change at any different level. Because if we are able to change the requirements here in the fourth or maybe fifth step, it will be very difficult because we have to rework again from the first step. Okay. So if we have to work on these steps again, a lot of time will be required, and we have to require more resources, we have to require more teamwork. So definitely it will increase the cost of our project. And we don't want this. We want to complete the task on the time and with the estimated cost. So that's why it is inflexible. Poor for changing requirements. So if we know that with the passage of time, our requirements will be changed, like the user demand will be changed with the passage of time, then we will not go for the waterfall model. Basically, we use the waterfall model for the complex and for the larger projects, because for them we have a rigid planning, we have a rigid requirements from the customers, and then we will work on them, and for so many months we will work in the same phase. Okay. So these sort of models, like when we use the waterfall model, these sort of projects require a long time period, maybe years required for them. Then we will go for the waterfall model. A linear sequential process where each phase must be completed before the next begins. So this is the condition in the waterfall model. Key characteristic: progress flows downward through the distinct phases. Each requirement, like for example, we have to first of all get the requirements, then we will analyze the requirements and get the SRS. SRS means software requirements specifications. Okay, then we will design, then we will develop the product, and then we will coding means we are going to develop a product. And after developing a product, we will test. And after testing, we have to implement the product into the real environment. And it is basically best for the projects with clear, stable requirements. Okay. Clear means we are very clear which sort of products we are going to design. And stable requirements means that we know that with the passage of time, these requirements are not going to change. They are rigid, they will be same throughout the period when we are working on the project. Low complexity, so it is less flexible where there is little room for change. So we just implement it in the case when just a little bit of changes may be required. Otherwise, if a certain kind of change is required in this project, it will gonna be very complex. Okay, so that's why we will not prefer it. For the smaller projects, we will prefer this waterfall model for the larger and complex projects, when the requirements from the users are very clear. Okay. Then we have deployment, development lifecycle, and V-shaped model. This is basically extension of waterfall and with testing each stage. So it means that we have it in the V shape. Like first of all, we will have planning, and we have to test this phase. Then we will have the analysis and we will test it. Then we will develop a product, we have to test it, and then we will coding, we have to test it, and when we will finally implement the product, we have to test it. So these are the steps we have to follow. These are the steps we follow in the waterfall model. And in V shape, basically, we just accent this verification. Like we have to test each phase before going to the next stage. Strength, strong quality focus. So when we are testing at each level, we will do the verification and validation. Then we are going to use the V-shaped model. Weakness, it's rigid and costly if changes occur late. So this is again have a limitations just like the waterfall. If any sort of changes are required, then we are not able to use this one. Okay, because again for this we have to clear and concise requirements and very rigid requirements that are not going to change in the future. Okay, description and extension of the waterfall model that explicitly link the testing. So basically we just link it with the test, like we have a waterfall model and each stage is connected to the testing activity. So we call it the V-shaped model with the development phases. Like all the phases we have in waterfall model, same we are having in V-shape, but they are connected with the testing activities. Key characteristics. So for every development phase on the left side of V, there is a corresponding testing phase on the right side. Design is followed by the integration testing. Like we have to integrate each phase with the testing. Implementation by the system testing. Okay, so at the end we will implement the product and we will perform the system testing. System testing means we have to test the whole system we have produced. It is basically best for the projects with the well-defined requirements where throughout the testing and verifications are critical at each stage. So we just have to use the V-shaped model is basically best when we require a validation from the developers that they have produced a accurate product and they have developed the accurate features. Okay, so for verification we can use the V-shaped model because at each level we can test each phase and at the end we will produce a best product and accurate product. Then we have a spiral model. So iterative with risk assessment at each cycle. Okay. So we have repetitions of the same processes and at in each loop, in each repetition, basically we are able to manage the risk. The trend is good for the high risk projects and it is also very flexible in the case, for example, if the user are not clear in their requirements, in their demands, so then we can go for the spiral model because we are able to repeat the process again and again, and if any sort of changes are coming to our project, then we are able to accept those changes and we are able to work on them. Then we have a spiral model description. It is iterative and risk driven model that combine the elements of the waterfall and the iterative model at the same time. The characteristics, the project progresses in the spiral with each loop representing in the complete development cycle. So at the end, we will get a complete project, but before that, we will go through the complete loop. And in each loop, basically, we will go through to the all activities, all phases to complete even one task or the one requirement from the user, including planning, risk analysis, engineering, and evaluation. Risk management is the central focus with the prototypes. built in the each iteration to reduce the risk. So basically in spiral, we will make a prototype again and again and then add those features in our product. Okay. It is best for the complex project with a high risk and need for flexibility and continuous risk assessment and mitigation. So, if we have to mitigate the risk and we have to deal with the risk and different issues and different challenges we are facing, then we can go for the spiral model. Development life cycles and iterative. So, iterative model is basically we again repeat the whole phases like design, development, and test cycles. Strength, it allow the feedback driven improvement. So we will get the feedback from our customers in each loop. Okay. But weakness, scope, creep, risk, no clear and no clear end data. So basically in the repetitive and iterative model, we don't have a clear information about the requirements and we don't have any idea at the end of the day which sort of product we are going to have. Okay, this is the disadvantage we are getting when we are working on the iterative model. So software is developed in small repeating cycles. Then we will say that we are going for the iterative model. We have used this approach of iterative model. Key characteristics of this model is each iteration produces a working, albeit but incomplete, okay, version of the software. So we will develop a software even in the first repetition, even in the first loop, and we will produce a workable product, but will be the incomplete. Okay, so if we want to get a complete product, then we can go for a waterfall model. Okay, because in repetition and in iterative model, we are not clear with the requirements and we are just producing the incomplete products. Allowing for rapid development and frequent feedback. So at the end of that version of the software, we will work on this software again and again to get a complete product. And in each loop, basically, we will go to our customers and show them that we have developed this software. Are you okay with it or not? So, which sort of extra features you want in this software? Then we will get the feedback from our customer. According to their feedbacks, we will work on the same software and try to complete the project. Problems are identified and corrected early in the development process. So basically, we have repetitions in this model. So we are able to work on our different issues, different phases, because again and again we are working on the same project. It is best for the projects with changing requirements. So if we know that our requirements are going to change with some passage of time, then we will go for the iterative approach. Benefits from the early and continuous user feedback. So the benefit we are getting from this is that we are connected to our users and we are getting their feedback after producing each feature in the software to refine our product over multiple iterations. So we know that we have to go through the loops to complete our project. So in each loop, we can work on the feedback from our customers. So now development models like SSADM and DSDM, Agile, prototyping, and DevOps. So development models are frameworks for the building software ranging from the SSADM, like a structured traditional approach, to DSDM and a broader Agile family of the methodologies like Scrum and Kanban, which emphasizes the flexibility, iteration, and the collaboration. Other models include the prototyping, which involves the creating every mockups to refine a product. So prototyping is also about the getting an incomplete product, but we can refine it later. And DevOps, which extend the agile principles to integrate the development and operations through the automation and continuous delivery. So DevOps is also extension of the agile principle. So let's see them in few more details. Like first of all, we have SSADM. SSADM is basically about a structured system analysis and design method. It is a formal and documentation heavy approach, and the basic focus in this model, it is data driven design and clear specifications. So if we have clear specifications, clear requirements, then we will go for this approach. So basically in this approach, we have to follow a structure process. SSADM is about structure, system analysis, and design methodology. This is systematic and comprehensive approach focusing on the detailed analysis of the requirements, system design, and validation. It follows the linear and phase-by-phase process, just like the waterfall, making it suitable for the well-defined projects but less adaptable to the changing requirements. But if we require some flexibility in our project, then we are not able to implement the SSATM. Okay, it is only applicable when our requirements and specifications are rigid, are clear and concise. Then we have DSDM, like dynamic system development method. Okay, it is agile based, rapid application development, and the basic benefit we are getting from the SDM is user involvement and quick prototype. So basically in DSDM, we are able to accept the change. Okay. So we will involve our user in each step and we will get their feedback and we are able to quickly change in our prototype and then we will work on our changing and develop a new complete product. Agile models like SDM and Scrum and Kanban. So basically Agile is about the iterative and incremental software development model. Okay. It is umbrella term for iterative and incremental. Iterative means we have a number of phases in our software lifecycle. Okay. And incremental model means that one by one we will add features into our software and then we will go for the repetitions. Okay. First of all, we will develop one feature. Then we will go through the same steps and develop another. And then we will go through the same steps and develop a third feature and then so on. And at the end, we will get a complete project. So basically, Agile is about the combination of iterative and incremental model. Incremental means that we are applying the process and we are following a process again and again, but we are adding few more features in our product. Okay. Agile focus on the rapid delivery of working softwares. Like if someone wants the software as soon as possible, we will go for the agile approach and we will develop few of the features and the customer will use this product. And then after 1 month, maybe we will add more features to the same software and deliver the product again. So this is the concept behind agile. And responding to the change rather than strictly adhering to the plan. So in waterfall model, we have to adhere our plan and we have to work on the planning separately and we are not able to accept any sort of changes if they are occurred. But in agile, we are able to embrace the change anywhere in the phase. Okay. DSDM is Dynamic System Development Method. It is also a agile framework that enable the rapid, flexible software delivery by incorporating the continuous user involvement and time-boxed iterations. So we will involve our user in each phase in the dynamic system development method. Okay. Dynamic means it is embracing the change. So Scrum is also a popular type of agile framework using the specific roles, events, and artifacts like sprints and daily stands up to promote the self-organizing teams and collaborations and continuous improvement. So basically in Scrum, we just develop a dummy product and then work on it again and again. And then at the end, we will provide them a better product. Kanban is a method focused on the visualizing workflow, limiting the work in the progress. VIP means work in progress, and optimizing the flow of work. So basically, if we want to optimize our work, optimize the time in any project, then we will go for this approach, because in this approach, we will visualize the progress rate of our project. Workflow means what? Progress of our project. It helps the team continuously deliver value and improve their processes by making the bottlenecks visible. So if any sort of issues occur, any sort of challenge occur, errors occur, then they will try to make them visible. And if they are visible, then we are able to sort out them. Then we have a prototyping methodology for development, building working models early for the feedback. Okay. So we just create a dummy form of our product, and then we will get the feedback from our customers and then work it again on the same dummy product. The strength of this model is that we can involve the users in it, and early error detection means that if we have any sort of errors, if we have any sort of issues in that product, then we are able to detect them. And if we detect them, then definitely we will work on them and try to reduce them. Okay. And try to mitigate them. But the weakness is endless revision risk. Like we don't have a time limit. We maybe follow the revision so many times that it require our lot of time, and then ultimately it will cost too much, because we require resources and we require the team for more time in prototyping technique. Then we have DevOps. Prototyping involves creating the early stage mockups for the models of a product, and this allows the stakeholders and designers to visualize and test and refine a product's appearance and functionality before full development. Okay. So basically in prototyping, we have to follow the steps, and in each step we will add the different functionalities. Then we have DevOps, a set of practices that integrate the software development and IT operations at the same time. DevOps means development and operations, aim to the shorten the software development lifecycle and provide the continuous delivery with the high software quality through automation and collaboration, effectively building on the agile principle. So basically, DevOps is also a type of agile principle, but in it, we try to automate the process. Okay. Automatically, all the steps will be followed, and we will try to collaborate our employees and our team members for optimizing the process and optimizing the development life cycle of any software. So development methods, it combines the development plus operations, continuous integration and delivery, and the basic strength and basic benefit we get from the DevOps is it is a faster deployment and automation collaboration. Okay, so these are few benefits of DevOps. A set of practices that integrate in software development and IT operations. DevOps basically aims to shorten the software development lifecycle, and it provides the continuous delivery, and we are able to maintain our software number of times. Role of system analysis. This is the topic we will see in details in next lecture. Like we will build the understanding with the existing systems and workflows. Then we will identify the issues and opportunities and how we can reduce the errors, improve the processing efficiency, and enhance the user experience with our products, and how we can adopt emerging technologies and examine the feasibility, technical, economic, and operational, and also legally, how we can examine the feasibility of any project. So that's all for today's lecture.